the safe area.
Good morning, agents, and welcome to another daily episode of Target Loot today for November 5th, the series that shows you the Target Loot map, farming tips and tricks, vendor reset highlights, and much more. I'm Agent Shadow, and if you enjoy my content, please consider pressing those subscribe and like buttons below. In the pinned comment, there are links to join my Discord and my Shadow Crew clan on all platforms, and support my channel like my merchandise store and the promo code for free shipping this next 2 weeks. But we'll cover that and more at the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get started with the Dark Zones first, and your daily reminder, the highlights from the vendors this week, DC, and then finally New York City Target Loot highlights last. Alright agents, this is just your daily reminder to complete your weekly SHD requisition for your first exotic cache and named item, and then complete summit on any difficulty to get your second exotic cache and named item. And then finally for your third exotic cache, you want to complete your weekly legendary, and this week is District Union Arena. Go check out the Dark Zones now. Alright agents, now we're over here at the highlights for the Dark Zones. Now I'm going to bring up a few highlights from the DC vendors that you might want to get. So first off, we got the Chain Killer over here at the White House, and we do have Contractor's Gloves over here at the theater if you want to pick those up as well. I think Cassie is closed, who had a little bit of a better roll on her Contractor's Gloves. And yeah, that's pretty much it for DC highlight vendors. Now in DZ West, we do have Hardwired, so this is sometimes worth farming for if you don't have it already. 3-piece Hardwired with 2-piece Hana U and 1-piece Wyvernware is really good, for that Assault Turret Striker Drone build. And there's sometimes you can do Hardwired for like a almost infinite Seeker Mine build. Otherwise, there's nothing at the vendor that I would recommend. Now over here in DZ South, we do have chest pieces as targeted loot. So there's 2 different DZ exclusive chests that you can farm for today. And that would be the Door Kicker's Knock with Perfect Spark. And then the other one, of course, would be the Fenris DZ exclusive chest. And that is the Ferocious Calm with Perfect Overwatch. I think both of those are worth farming for, and if you have 152 DZ resources, it might be worth checking out the Dark Zone South vendor to get that Rail Splitter with Perfect Accurate. Now lastly, we have masks over here at DZ East. So of course, the DZ exclusive mask would be the Hollow Man mask, which gives you 8% damage to health. There's just really nothing else in the game that gives you, damage to health besides Walker Harrison Co., and it doesn't give you 8%. So if you want to try mixing that with some Walker Harrison Co. and see what you can get, it might be worth it. Otherwise, you can pick up a Carnage with Perfect Sadist at the DZ East vendor. But other than that, that's it. Remember, all these are 152 DZ resources at the vendor. And to get DZ resources, you have to extract deconstructed loot in your contaminated bag. Alright, let's go check out the Northside Target Loot highlights and invaded missions this week. Alright agents, now we're over here on the Northside Target Loot highlights and invaded missions for this week. So the invaded missions are Federal Emergency Bunker, Potomac Event Center, and then of course we got Lincoln Memorial, and then the stronghold would be Roosevelt Island and Tidal Basin. Alright agents, now we're over here on the highlights for the north side. Let's get it started with Camp White Oak. This is Alps Summit, which is a healer build type of deal, brand or whatever it's called. So I always suggest, besides the percussive maintenance backpack with perfect tech support, which I don't believe belongs on an Alps Summit piece, what you should get instead is a chest piece with empathetic resolve and mix that with 4 pieces of future initiative for your, healer build. Otherwise, get future initiative chest and backpack from Iron Horse. We got ongoing directive at Coney Island Ballpark. You can mix this with or without Ridgeway's Pride for a wonderful bleed build. Like I always say, go check out my bro Identity. Great guy, and he's got a great build with ongoing directive that's worth checking out. We got submachine guns at Manning National Zoo. So you got 2 exotic submachine guns to farm for, the Lady Death and the Chatterbox. Both of them are highly worth farming for, and I think the Chatterbox is kind of a sleeper. I don't see a lot of people running it, but it is insanely good. I mean, as soon as you kill an enemy, it refills your magazine. I mean, it's ridiculous, especially with Gunner and Hunter's Fury and Memento. It's definitely worth checking out. There's 2 named SMGs that can drop in the light zone, and that would be the Safety Distance with Perfect Outsider and the Swap Chain. Otherwise, the Dark Winter and the Apartment are still Dark Zone exclusives that you cannot get in the light zone. I always recommend a Vector variant or MPX with Strained or maybe Close and Personal on it. And then, of course, you can also get the Cold Relations SMG with perfect strained on it, but it is a PP19, and I personally just don't like it that much. Kenley College is closed, and the Summit, you pick your own targeted loot, which, as you guys can see, for the past couple weeks, I haven't even changed my targeted loot because Summit. Comment below on what you think of targeted loot at Summit and what it's, doing for you, because it wasn't doing anything for me. And me and my bro, Heaven High, Agent Heaven, we've been farming the open world and the control points and everything, because Summit just doesn't seem really worth it. Anyway, let's go check out what we got on the west side. Alright, agents, we're over here on the west side targeted loot highlights. I want to get started with the gear sets first. So first off, at the Roosevelt Island Stronghold, we got Eclipse Protocol. Now, this was a big build video for me, one of my first ones, in Title Update 9, I think it was, or 10. But Eclipse Protocol, you mix 4 pieces with either the Imperial Dynasty holster or the Vial Mask. Or, even better yet, you can mix 4 pieces Ongoing Directive with just the backpack, because the backpack talent activates its bonus talent for whatever reason by only wearing the backpack. So just that's a pro tip for you guys. Mixing 4 of those with Imperial Dynasty or Vial Mask and 1 piece of Golan gear is an absolute mayhem build with a fire chem launcher. Of course, Hunter's Fury at Constitutional Hall. I'll put my build video up for that right now with the memento that I have shredded through the manhunt. Look at this manhunt. Just a couple of hours, and I just ripped through all of this. So that build is very good, especially with True Patriot as well. And then, of course, Strikers at Tidal Basin, I never recommend. I don't think it's worth it. I think it needs to be reworked, and it's a shame that it's in this game, and it was so much more powerful and better in the first division. Alright, now let's go check out, the rest of this loot. So, we got Overlord at DARPA Research Labs. This is where I would recommend farming for the Fox's Prayer knee pads. That gives you 8% damage to targets out of cover. That's multiplicative damage, and when you mix that with 10% damage to targets out of cover on one of your weapons, it just absolutely shreds enemies apart. Now, next up, we got gloves over at DCD HQ. This is where you can farm for the exotic BTSU gloves. Otherwise, you can farm for the Contractor's gloves, which gives you 8% damage to armor. But that's where you would want to farm Downtown West, where it has Petrov Defense Group as the targeted loot. We do have light machine guns over here at Potomac Event Center. That's where you can farm for the exotic Bullet King and Pestilence. Otherwise, you can go ahead and farm for a named LMG like the Carnage, the Sleipnir, which you can craft at the White House. The Good Times with Perfect Fast Hands, the new Reliable, which probably is my personal favorite, and a lot more like the Quiet Roar. Also, we got Providence Defense at West End, so this is where you can farm for the Sacrifice of Perfect Glass Cannon. Some people really like it. It amplifies all damage by 30%, I believe, and all incoming damage to you by 60%, so watch your butt. Anyway, but that's probably worth farming for, and I think there's 3 control points here and all sorts of activities going on, so definitely check that out today. Grupo Sombra, 1 piece for DPS builds and 2 pieces for explosive skill damage builds. And we got Sokolov at the White House for all you SMG runners. Alright, let's go ahead and check out what we got on the east side. Alright, agents, we're over here on the east side targeted loot highlights. And starting off with the gear sets, we got 1 and 1 only gear set, which is Aces and 8s today on the east side. Now, of course, you can mix 3 pieces Aces and 8s with 2 pieces Aralda Holding and 1 piece Chain Killer for an absolutely amazing headshot build. I personally prefer running the Punch Drunk Mask instead, but to each his own. Now, that's it for the gear sets, surprisingly. Next up, we got Assault Rifles at Southwest. This is where you can get the exotic Chameleon, or you can get a named one like the Maniac, Military AKM, the Burnout named FAMAS. You put a scope on that thing with focus and perfect vigilance, and it's an absolute shredder. Otherwise, you can get one of the best assault rifles in the game, the FAMAS, the Military AKM, the Carbine 7, the Police M4, and G36 variants. We got rifles at Space Admin, so of course you can get the Diamondback and Merciless rifles. And I think the Diamondback is quite worth it, and the Merciless you usually want to run braced on your chest piece, or a lot of weapon handling to, handle it. Even on PC, it's ridiculous. Otherwise, just get a classic M1A and throw one of the best rifle damage talents on it, which would be Boomerang, Rifleman, or Ranger. Now we got Badger Tough over here at Capitol Building Stronghold. This is where I would recommend farming for the named 0S chest piece with Perfect Unbreakable. Every time you lose your armor, every 55 seconds you lose your armor, you get 100% of it back. Absolutely wonderful. And I'll put my shredder build in the top right that my boy Agent Heaven High really likes to run, and I agree, it is very good. Heralda holding in American history, if you want to run that, you want weapon damage, headshot damage, and weapon handling for rolls on your Heralda holding. And you want to get a backpack with either composure or vigilance on it for a headshot damage build. We got Walker Harrison Co. at Viewpoint Museum. This is where you can farm for the Chain Killer chest piece with Perfect Headhunter. These headshot builds are amazing, and please comment below if you want me to post my headshot build. I think I will, so just let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, the Matador with Perfect Adrenaline Rush is a DZ exclusive, so you're gonna have to wait for this to be targeted loot over here. We got Hana Yu at Judiciary Square. This is where you can get the Force Multiplier backpack with Perfect Combined Arms. That's a whole extra 30% skill damage every 3 seconds that you're shooting and landing hits on an enemy, and is absolutely worth getting. Get it with skill haste, skill damage, and put a skill haste or skill duration mod on it. And then the last couple ones, we got Bellstone Armory at Downtown East. This is where you can get the Everyday Carrier with Perfectly Efficient. Now, the Liquid Engineer with Perfect Bloodsucker is only DZ exclusive, so you can't get it in the light zone. But please comment below and let me know if you've gotten it outside for any way, like targeted loot rewards. Otherwise, we got knee pads at Grand Washington Hotel, which, keep in mind, this should be invaded next week for all you guys that need your Nemesis part, the Nemesis blueprint. Anyway, for knee pads, you can get 2 exotic knee pads, the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, and the Sawyer's knee pads. Otherwise, if you're looking for just a regular pair of knee pads, I would go farm Overlord for those Fox's Prayer. But yeah, that looks to be it for the east side. Let's go check out the New York City targeted loot highlights, and I'll let you agents go. Alright, agents, we're over here lastly at New York City targeted loot highlights, and I will get started with the gear sets first just to knock those out, and then I'll go to one of the main highlights. So we got Negotiator's Dilemma at Battery Park. I'll put my double LMG build in the top right card now because it's an absolute crowd control and great DPS set that runs with ARs, LMGs, and SMGs, and I recommend farming for it for sure. Over here, I think this is Future Initiative, or sorry, Tip of the Spear. This is niche, I don't really farm for it ever. True Patriot at the Tombs, of course, you guys know my True Patriot build with the Memento. If you don't, I'll put it in the top right card now. This is definitely worth farming for sure, or you can mix it with Sawyer's knee pads and a Pestilence, and True Patriot has all sorts of cool variations. And then lastly, Foundry Bulwark at Stranded Tanker. This is armor regen tank build, and you know, and like the Future Initiative chest and backpack piece, they're raid exclusive, so keep that in mind when farming for them. Otherwise, the highlight for New York City, I believe, is Gear System mods at Liberty Island. It's a big mission with, I believe, a few bosses, at least one for sure, but it's a large map. And I'd highly recommend farming for it today if you're getting those protection from elite mods, you know, the 12% crit hit damage mods, 6% crit hit chance mods. They're highly worth farming for, so hit that up on Heroic today and get those maxed out mods if possible. We got Douglas and Harding at Wall Street, so this is where you would farm for the Punch Drunk Mask that gives you 20% headshot damage baked right into it. You want to mix that with Chain Killer chest piece on your headshot damage build, or with a Dodge City holster build for absolute awesome damage. And then lastly, at Pathway Park, we got holsters, so this is where you want to farm for 2 exotic holsters. That would be the Imperial Dynasty holster and the Dodge City holster. Otherwise, you can go ahead and farm for one of the named holsters, which is the Forge holster, which gives you an extra 50% shield health to your shield, which is a whole extra skill tier worth to your shield. Alright, that's it for the New York City targeted loot highlights. Let's go to the outro. Alright, agents, well, that was the targeted loot for today. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed my content. If you would like to become a member for support and exclusive perks, click the join button below. That would be amazing, and shout out to all my members like Heaven High, Silverback. All you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all the help that you provide. You can also grab some Shadow Gaming merchandise by clicking the link in the pinned comment and video description below. I got lower prices across the board, and I have a promo code for free shipping for the next 2 weeks that you can get from the pinned comment and video description below. You can also support me on alt tech like Patreon and Subscribestar, or you can go subscribe to me on Storyfire, BitChute, all that stuff, you know, if you want to support me on alt tech. But yeah, if you're still watching this video right now to the end, thank you. That's truly the best way to support me and whitelist me on your ad blocker. Take care, agents, and be sure to stay tuned for more daily Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care, agents.